All right, let's get into the next discussion now.
Yes, indeed. Now, there seems to be new uncertainties in the nuclear crisis in the Korean Peninsula. Well, North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has kept to his promise of retaliation after U.S. President Donald Trump slapped fresh sanctions on Pyongyang and declared it a state sponsor of terrorism.
Kim Jong-un shattered the 2-month period of relative quiet by test firing a missile that analysts say may put the U.S. East Coast in range. Now, Japan says the intercontinental ballistic missile flew for 53 minutes on a lofted trajectory and may have reached an altitude of more than 4,000 kilometers before landing in waters about 250 kilometers from its northwest coast.
And U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mattis said it flew higher than any previous North Korean launch. The UN Security Council is due to convene an emergency session to discuss the latest test. Well, we have joining us Director of the Department of Research and Studies, NIIA, that's the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, Professor Charles Dokubo. It's good to have you on the show this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Okay, so what do you make of these uncertainties now in the Korean Peninsula? As far as the North Korea is concerned, they have achieved their target. The entire United States is within range.
I think it has proven that now they will be ready to negotiate. They will be ready to negotiate with the United States if they are ready to negotiate. Because, you know, they've attained the heights that they wanted. They have what we call a reliable capability to hit the mainland of the United States, not only Guam and South Korea and Japan. So definitely, this gives them a sort of leverage on which to hold their grounds and discuss with the United States. If the United States still think that they are looking for a North Korea without a denuclearized North Korea, I think they are living in cloud cuckoo land. This nation know what they are living for, and they know the threat that is facing them.
All right, Professor. Professor, make us understand because when the rhetorics of all of this ballistic missile and all of that from North Korea comes, the one country that comes in mention is always the United States. Is what they're developing, or the missile test and all, is it all about the United States?
In fact, for them, it's a weapon of last resort, and that they believe that with the presence of the United States military in South Korea, their land is subject to attack by the United States anytime. So for them, the acquisition of nuclear weapon is a weapon of last resort. If North Korea is going to be attacked, they are going to use it. So definitely, now there is a balance. And also you must understand that, you know, nuclear deterrence is about rational leaders. Now we have two leaders who are not very rational. You have the United States President whose utterances of fury and fire signifying nothing, and also a North Korean leader who believes that his country needs nuclear weapons to stay. So definitely, there is a problem. In the past, there is that understanding that rational leaders were not going to use it to attack you. But if what the United States was saying at that time, they are going to attack, they are going to destroy, they have the capability to destroy. It's not about capability. It's about even a single entry system entering your own country. That's when you know how devastating it will be. Now I believe they've attained the height that they want. The United States and North Korea can now sit down and discuss.
The U.S., well, President Donald Trump has been saying that, you know, they would respond adequately to the North Korean naughtiness, to put it mildly. It took all of 53 minutes for this missile to get, you know, to its target. What does it say, you know, in terms of the U.S. capability to actually, you know, checkmate this missile launch?
The fact is that, you know, some of these launching pads are also very mobile. They can put it anywhere and then start launching missiles. So one is even thinking that if you want to destroy it on the ground, it's also difficult because you don't know exactly what direction and from what place they are going to fire it. So it's a difficult position for the United States. For what they should know is that they should sleep well, knowing that they have a nuclear-armed North Korea. How do they contain them? To bring them back into the non-proliferation treaty, to discuss with them as rational actors and state actors, not as a rogue regime and all that. If you do that, you are going to continue to live with North Korea armed with nuclear weapons that could destroy any part of the world now.
All right. Now, the IAEA that is supposed to regulate the production and the ownership and the whatever when it comes to atomic and missile across the world has not been able. Even when you talk about sanctions, the sanctions has not deterred North Korea from producing nuclear weapons, and we've seen threats from from Iran and all of that. Now, with the success, the stubborn success from North Korea, how likely is it that we're going to certainly see other countries come up with all of these nuclear weapons going forward?
The advent of the nuclear weapon, nuclear system, or nuclear fabrication, it was thought that nuclear weapons will spread all over, but it has not been. The NPT treaty, however weak it is, it has not been totally destroyed. The fact is that there are rogue states or there are nations that they have the right. They said, if your nation is threatened by what you call a threat to national survival, you can withdraw from that regime, the NPT regime. But International Atomic Energy, what they do is that they regulate the amount of fissile fuel used in a reactor, so that at the end they can look at how the spent fuel could be used, so it cannot be diverted. But North Korea does not allow the International Atomic Energy to come in. When they were discussing with the United States at that time with six-party talks, they allowed International Atomic Energy to come in. And at that time, it was realized that they are keeping to all their promises. But when you face a leader whose rhetoric is so sensitive, whose rhetoric is threatening, I think, and then when the Obama administration stopped discussion with them, it was then that the North Koreans started to build up. And at this level, denuclearization is not in their front burners. What they intend to do is to fabricate and also miniaturize. With that, they will be able to, and I'm sure they have a second strike capability. It's not only having a first strike capability, but that if you are hitting, if the United States hits them, then they could also fire back, because they have about 3 points where you have in submarine, in the air, and also on land-based systems. So definitely, it is now time for the United States to forget about his rhetoric, to talk about peace in the Korean Peninsula, and also see North Korea as a prime actor in that area. That would save the situation.
Are you saying that the U.S. then actually holds the key? I mean, how close really are we to the precipice?
No, we've come closer to that. I could remember when India and Pakistan acquired nuclear weapons. It was as if the world will end the next day. But we've also seen that these people have behaved as rational actors. They've not fired at, even conventional fights have not escalated to the level of nuclear exchange. So we must also see the North Koreans as a nation. And we must also see that they have real threats. About 50,000 American troops in South Korea. If they are not attacked, they are not going to use it. If they attack, then they will use it. So for American decision makers, they also know that now is the time they should believe that they can live with a North Korea, with nuclear armed North Korea, and they could sit down and discuss with them. That is the only way forward.
All right.
Talking about firing, hitting, and all that will not solve the crisis now.
All right. Many analysts are saying, well, all of this are just rhetoric. See, if we have to narrow it down to the reality of the fact that are we looking at a possible of a third world war, but they're saying there's not going to be a war. It's just a power play, trying to balance the power.
There will be no war. I think most of the nations believe that nuclear weapon is not like any other weapon. It is the ultimate weapon. You don't just use it. And most nations that have developed nuclear, apart from the United States, no nation have used nuclear weapons. So sometimes taking lessons from the United States about nuclear prudency is questionable. They are the only nation in the world that have used nuclear weapons. We cannot just believe that because we are at war or in a state of war with North Korea, that they've acquired nuclear weapons and they're going to use it against South Korea. It's not so. We have to treat them equally as humans. We must have what we call a mirror imaging system, where our actions could be seen as their own actions. They can, if they were in their position, they also act the same way. So let's look at it this way. I doubt if the war, we are entering a third world war. It is far beyond. We're not going to talk about that now.
So you would say then that Donald Trump's America first really should be the world first?
It was just a threat that was not grounded in any policy option. The only way even his Secretary of State was trying to negotiate. He was treating him not to negotiate about anything. They're going to handle it his own way. His own way is the wrong way.
Okay.
And now they must realize that North Korea will not give up these weapons that they've attained.
All right. Professor, let me ask you just this one question before we go. China has been, or was expected to play a major role in deterring or trying to talk down, ensure that North Korea doesn't go beyond where it is going. But strategically or maybe tactically, they've been silent. What is China trying to, what is their role and position in all of this?
I would like you to understand what the Chinese have always said when things like that come up. They've always stated that they would like a discussion and conversation between the parties that are concerned, and that using nuclear weapon on war is not going to resolve any of the issues there. China would prefer to have a nuclear-armed North Korea than to have a North Korea that has been destroyed and that will flood, and with refugees flooding into North Korea and all that. Korea would prefer to have a nuclear-armed China would prefer to have a nuclear-armed North Korea, but is stable and ruled by their own leaders. China cannot dictate terms to North Korea.
Okay, China cannot dictate terms for North Korea. Yeah. That's really at the crux of the matter right now. Well, if the U.S. and North Korea actually continue like this, they may not just be the only ones affected by all of this. The rest of the world will be.
We just look forward to a negotiation, like Professor has said. Professor Charles Dokubo, thank you so much for coming on the program this morning.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to all of you.
Right, thank you.